Hello, my name is Rick. This is the Dwarven Fortress of Swampcavern. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about how to get to know your dwarves better. Based on the posts listed in the comment section, I thought this video might be well received. I will use my own fort to help show off the tips. When I talked about my ideas for getting to know your dwarves better, I got a lot of good feedback, so the following is not just my ideas, but some of those of veteran players. This list is roughly in order of how much work the ideas are, starting with the ones that take more effort and working on down from there. A lot of this advice uses the program DFHack, so rather than saying, if you have DFHack over and over, I'm just saying it now. So, here are my tips for getting to know your dwarves better. Satisfy their goals. Do they have a favorite animal you can give them as a pet? Do they have some favorite type of wood or stone that you can make furniture from? If they like a particular type of weapon, maybe they should be in the military squad that uses that type of weapon. Here's one example. This is the dwarf gold spear. She likes spears and shields, so she is in the spear squad. Do they want to create a great work of art? Give them a creative job of some kind, such as engraving or crafting. Greatly respect martial prowess? Give them a job in the military. One common way to do this tip is to give a noble furniture in their room that is made out of a material that they like, but you could do this for any dwarf. Draw your favorite dwarves. Even if you're bad at drawing, it will help you picture them and remember them. You can get some idea of their looks from the description, such as how they wear their hair, their beard. You can portray their attitude as well. Do they get mad easily? Are they pleased with their appearance? Do they want to take over the world? Get to know the history of the world. Use Legends Viewer. Are there a lot of forgotten beasts left? Who are the major political powers? Do your dwarves have a lot of sites, or very few? Are there any major wars going on? You can see these by looking at the major factions. Your starting 7 dwarves won't have any history in the world, but Legends Viewer will still record everything that they do. Other migrants who show up in the fort will have some history. Even those who join the fort for other reasons will have a history in the world. For instance, here is the fort's resident goblin poet Nurzung. She joined the fort as part of a musical group named the Mysterious Plants. She was the apprentice to the elf Mimail Typhoonstoked, who is now also living in this fort. Make statues or engravings. If you choose the subject to be your fort, the artist can choose any event from its history, including things you, the player, didn't know about, such as one forgotten beast killing another in the caves when you were not looking. If you choose a historical figure of one of the dwarves from your fort, the artist will pick some aspect of them to represent. A mayor might be shown being elected, or sad when they lose their jobs. Sometimes dwarves are shown with creatures they hate. Perhaps they have done something to annoy the artist. Read their stories or poetry. If you see people telling stories or reciting poems, you can click on them to see what they are about. This also works with dances. Look at what kind of books they are writing. This will tell you what they've been discussing and thinking about as a group for possibly months of their time. Sometimes they even write about their own fort. Check out their relationships. Do this by selecting someone from your fort and then hitting R for relationships. You can tell which dwarves or even animals they have been spending the most time with because they will be better friends with them. Or have a grudge against them, in this case. Ask them what they are thinking about. Just click on them and hit Z and you can see their most recent thought. By hitting enter on this screen, as well as what has been influencing their mood in the last quarter. See what they are wearing. Click on a dwarf and then hit I for inventory. Aquaman here is wearing lots of stuff. This is a question that came up recently, so I'm going to just read everything that Aquaman is wearing. Aquaman is wearing a bracelet, a ring, another bracelet, an earring, another ring, a cap on his head, an amulet around his neck, so on his head, another marble earring, another amulet on his head, another ring, a gold crown on his head. He's wearing a bracelet, a bracelet, a bracelet, another bracelet. He's wearing an earring, a ring, a gabbro crown to go with all that other stuff on his head. He's got a gabbro bracelet, armadillo left glove, giant ohm leather right glove. He's wearing a spider silk hood over his head. He's got cave spider silk sock. He's got a giant cave spider silk right mitten and a cave spider silk left mitten and a cave spider silk dress and a cave spider silk robe and a giant crow leather cloak and a loincloth and fur trousers. And just for fun, cave spider silk shoe on his right foot, his left foot, and a cave spider silk sock on his left foot. Check the mood of the fort. On the bottom right-hand side of the screen are a bunch of numbers. The scale ranges from most unhappy people to those who are fine to those who are ecstatic. You may find you have a fort that is mostly happy, or has some happy and some angry dwarves, or any combination really. Watch what they are doing. Click on a dwarf or select them from the unit list. This will tell you what they are doing at the moment. Hit F to follow them around as they go from task to task. Name your dwarves. This tip ranges from very easy to slightly more work for the player. It has a large effect on the experience for the player. For the most easy use of this tip, just name dwarves that stand out in some way or have done something significant. Whether it's defeating a monster, having a job like chief medical dwarf or manager, or having made a cool artifact. Name your starting 7. That's not that many. To take the same idea further, name more or even all of your dwarves. To make it easier, use some kind of naming convention. I like to name armor or weaponsmiths after something that will make me realize their jobs, as they tend to be very important to a fort. If a dwarf is particularly cowardly, I don't want them in my military. I tend to name dwarves after things that they like, or if some aspect of their personality jumps out at me. I got a lot of feedback on naming conventions. Some people like to give them names that tell a great deal about the dwarf. Some like to name them after friends, family, or fictional characters. This is a topic so big it could get its own video sometime, and maybe it will. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it here. On one end of the spectrum, you have the people naming only a few dwarves in their whole fort, the easiest approach. On the other, you have people whose naming conventions tell you everything you need to know about the dwarf just from their names. My preference is somewhere in the middle, where I name every dwarf in my fort, but some of the names were chosen for lazy reasons. Gold Snake, for instance, likes gold and snakes. You get the idea. Using DF Hack, you can rename bad guys or merchants. If you rename the leader of the invaders, you can see what they are doing in combat, whether it's killing your guys or getting killed. If you rename the merchants or diplomats, you will recognize them when they show up again, or bring new people. You do this by clicking on them and then using the command rename unit, quotes, whatever nickname you want to give them, so that in quotes. I hope these tips were helpful. If you found this video useful, please like, comment, or subscribe. If you do subscribe, you have to hit the bell icon to be notified of new updates. Check out some of my other tutorials. I also have lots of videos about monsters attacking my fort, like goblin sieges or a dragon. Thanks for watching.